my Jesus. Sunday, October 21st, 2018. Let us look into the book of Galatians here. Galatians chapter number 6. I just want to lift a few words out of that 6th chapter, beginning with verse number 7. Galatians 6 and 7 says, "Be not deceived, God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. For he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption. But he that soweth to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap life everlasting. And let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not." Subject for the message today is harvest time. Harvest time. In introducing this message, I should say that even though we may not all be farmers, we will reap a harvest in the future. The Apostle Paul paints in our text a picture of life as an opportunity to plant in one or two fields. That is, in the field of the flesh or in the field of the Spirit. My friends, we all have the opportunity to do our planting in the realm of our fleshly nature. For Galatians 6 and 8 tells us, it says, "He that soweth to the flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption. But he that soweth to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap everlasting life." Think about it. We all have equal opportunity to sow or plant in the realm of our spiritual nature. Indeed, Paul paints a picture of life as an opportunity to reap a harvest. In our text, the apostle is warning believers of the danger of living only in the dimension of their fleshly nature. Many believers may be sowing or planting seeds in the realm of the flesh and may be totally neglecting the Spirit. Nevertheless, the words of our text should speak loudly to both the unsaved person who sows only in the realm of the flesh, and it should speak equally loudly to the saved person who faces the danger of neglecting the Spirit while sowing only to the fleshly nature. Where, my friends, are you sowing today? Where are you planting? What are you planting? Harvest time is coming. Just want us to remember, as I strive to unfold this message, remember that we harvest exactly what we plant. This is a law of nature and a law of God. When you plant corn, you do not reap collard greens. Oh, how I love collard greens. If you plant popcorn, you will never reap beans. This might sound silly, but we all need to be reminded now and again about this law of reaping and sowing. I tell you this, if you have neglected or rejected Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, you are sowing, planting seeds in the realm of your flesh. I'm going to go ahead and add that if you are saved and receive Jesus as your Savior, it is still possible that you are or you could be neglecting to sow in the Spirit as you could and as you should be doing. Another resounding truth in this message is that we reap exactly where we plant. My friend, you cannot work for the devil all the week and then come to church on Sunday looking for a paycheck. Ha! We reap exactly where we harvest. We reap exactly what we harvest. You plant seeds in the nightclub, in the dance hall. That's what they used to call it a long time ago, dance hall. But now they got a new dance hall out there. They got that lap dance hall. If you plant your seeds there, that's where your harvest will be. I want to submit to you the fact that we are made in the image and likeness of God. We didn't have anything to do with that. Heard a lady tell me a long time ago, good friend and neighbor. She's gone on to glory now. She was a mulatto. And she said that I can't help who my mama and daddy was. Can't do nothing about that. We were made in the image and likeness of God, and we have the potential, or we have the opportunity to have fellowship with Him. Yes, we can be in partnership with God. I want to argue that to the degree that you cultivate this part of your life, you will reap a harvest in the realm of the Spirit. It's such a wonderful thing to have a partnership, a working relationship, a comradeship, a fellowship, a Zionship. It's just so wonderful to walk with God every day, all day. It's a wonderful experience to commune with God. And that is possible when you get saved. Another thing about this harvest time, is the fact that we always harvest more than we plant. It's the law of reaping and sowing, a law of nature, a law of God. Just this week rather, I pulled a watermelon that grew on its own in my yard, and I saved every seed. I got 2 or 3 more melons on the vine, but it served me to remember that one seed was multiplied almost innumerable times. One day I sat down and counted up the seeds on a cotton stalk. I counted up the number of leaves in the cotton boll, counted up the number of, not leaves, but seeds in the cotton boll. I counted up the number of seeds that were in each lock of cotton, 4 locks in a bowl. Whew. I must have tabulated, it's been so long since I did the exercise, but I think I tabulated right at 9,000 cotton seeds on one cotton stalk that was produced by one seed. The point is, we always harvest more than we plant. Now, what are you planting, my friend? Let me tell you this, and I'm going to hurry up and get on out of here. Maybe I can get through in 20 minutes today like I did last week. We have to plant in the right place. I took seeds out of the core of a Washington State red delicious apple. Invariably, it's exactly 8 seeds in that apple. I took those seeds and germinated them and planted myself an apple tree. Here in Alabama. But that Washington State apple was transplanted here in Alabama on foreign soil. And it produced 1 or 2 years. After 2 years, I ate plenty of apples. Didn't eat quite as many as the woodpeckers, because the woodpeckers had a party on those apples. But here's the point. In the wintertime, we had a temperature drop to around 18 or 15 degrees. That apple tree didn't make it. The cold killed it. Plant your seeds, my friends, in the right place. Here's another point here that I want to stress. I'm only 14 minutes in, so I can tell you about this. That tomato plant. I went to a hardware store here in town and caught a bargain on 2 tomato plants, 2 containers of tomato plants. They produced nothing. But this year, a few months ago, I observed a few tomato plants growing up along the brick wall beside my den at the house. I looked at them and I said, now that's a tomato plant there. But inch and a half, 2 inches long. And I want you to know that I transplanted those volunteer plants and they supplied me with tomatoes all the summer. Where I eat salads, I buy tomatoes all the time. But I haven't bought a tomato in 3.5 or 4 months. Oh, it's time to buy them now. But I tell you what I did. I saw some more coming along this morning. And I stopped what I was doing, put them in a pot. I'm going to put them in the greenhouse. And hopefully, those volunteer tomatoes will produce again. I shall wrap up this message, my friends. Get on out of your way. And say, number one, that we harvest what we plant. Exactly what we plant. And not only that, but we reap the harvest where we planted. We harvest more than we plant. These are the laws of reaping and sowing now. And finally, my friends, we harvest later than we plant. No farmer expects to reap a harvest the same day that he plants his seeds. Some seeds produce a crop in a few weeks. Other seeds produce a crop that takes months to mature. We will be sure of this fact, my friend. We will reap a harvest of the flesh as well as a harvest of the spirit during our lifetime. Yes. But that's not all. There is, my friends and family and kinfolks and loved ones and adversaries, there is an intergenerational harvest out there. Whew. Every day is harvest time for me in this intergenerational dimension. My great-granddaddy, wasn't his fault that he was born a slave, but he managed so well to buy 70 acres in 1897 for $500. This church is located on the land that he bought. My little modest home there, my old house now because I got a new one, is situated on land that he bought. This intergenerational harvest is an everyday festival for me. We can, my friends, also reap a harvest of the Spirit in this life, and we can reap a harvest of the Spirit in the life beyond. In the life beyond this life. There is another life after this life after this life is over. What we want, let me put it to you like this, and I'm going to hurry up. 20 minutes gone. What you are and what you do lives and bears fruits after your lips have become steel, after your hands have been stilled by death. Ha. What we are, what we do lives on. God rewards his children for the total impact of their lives. And consequently, it is possible to sow seeds that will produce fruits after our earthly life is over. Harvest time is coming. What will you gather? What will your harvest be? Ask God to save your soul. Pray the sinner's prayer. I know where you are. And I know that you listen to me occasionally. But this time, listen to me real good. It's harvest time now. And I want you to meet me in the city, the beautiful city, the city whose builder and maker is God, the city that rests on 12 foundations, 12 gates to the city. Ask the Lord to save you. Just tell him, I believe that you died for my sins, and I believe that God raised you from the dead. Just save my soul. That's the message. Harvest time, delivered by Albert Franklin Lankster inside the four walls of the Greater New Bethel Baptist Church of Linden, Alabama, on this 21st day of October 2018. My friends, I have to pronounce the benediction. Now unto him who is able to keep us from falling, who's able to present us faultless before the presence of his glory with exceeding great joy, the only wise God, to whom be glory, majesty, dominion, and power, both now, henceforth, and forevermore. Blessed be the tie that binds,